Let's do it.
Well, 1985, July of 85, old Pelvis got a pretty good gig. I was going to go over, I was sent to Hong Kong to do some, look for some sites to shoot a movie. And the only thing I had to do is walk around Hong Kong and surrounding areas there, take pictures for locations for different scenes for this movie. And it was a sci-fi movie called Burning Chrome. Had no idea what the hell chrome was in those days, man. I had no idea. The 85, hell, I didn't come around a computer until the early 90s. So, chrome, I had no idea what it was. But anyhow, this I was there with another guy, James Schumann. And James, he was a crazy, oh my God, crazy English guy. I love this guy, man. We laugh and scratch and have a good time. Oh my Lord. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. James got there before I did. And I don't know how he met this girl or how he swung this thing. I got my theory, and I don't want to express my theory right now. And maybe later on I'll tell you what my theory is. But he had this girlfriend when I met up with him in Hong Kong, a girl by the name of Sophie. And she was an Irish girl, blonde, pretty girl. But she was a hooker in Hong Kong, okay? And her and James became a couple, and I'll tell you what, Sophie and I became really good friends. And I'm telling you guys out there, you single guys, married guys, don't even listen to this because it'll drive you nuts. But you single guys out there, if you ever get a chance to get a hooker for a friend, that's the best friend you can ever have in your life. And I'm telling you what, just stay platonic. Keep it completely platonic, because I can tell you from experience that Pelvis benefited from that friendship more than you can ever imagine, all right? And I'll tell you more about that, but right now we're getting about taxi stories. But Sophie and I were good friends. She was a great gal. And there's a lot of that in Hong Kong, man. There's so many girls from all over the world over there contracted into these clubs over there, and they make a fortune. And that's what Sophie was there to do. She was there. She's going to make her money, go back to Ireland and buy a ranch, or a farm, a farm. And I God hope she did, because I hate to put it in these terms, but the girl worked her ass off, so to speak. Anyhow, getting to the taxi. We're in Hong Kong there, and we're getting around. And if you're not familiar with Hong Kong, most people think that when they land at the airport, they moved Kai Tak Airport now, but when you landed in the Kai Tak Airport, that was actually in Kowloon, and that's pretty flat over there. But Hong Kong is an island that just comes up out of that harbor there, and I mean, it goes straight up into a mountain. It's just a mountain that's sticking out of the harbor. And so you have Central, which is down by it's pretty flat down there. But then it starts up this hill, it starts up that mountain. So it goes from Central to the mid-levels to the peak. But when we were first there, we were staying in hotels. And that was all down in Central. And then what happens in Hong Kong is the expats, the British, go home for holiday, and they put their flats up for rent for a six-week period of time. Well, both James and I rented a flat in this hotel, in this building on a street called Glen Ely, which was in the mid-levels. And by a flip of the coin, I got the penthouse apartment on the top floor of this building, and he was 2 floors below me. And to get into a cab in Central and try to tell a Chinese cab driver your address on Glen Ely, I mean, it was damn near impossible to get home. And so Sophie one day we were telling her about our problem getting in these cabs. And our building was right around the corner from the most happening spot in Hong Kong, a place called Lai Kwai Fong. And Lai Kwai Fong had all these bars. They had a bar in there called 1997. And if you don't know the significance of 1997 to Hong Kong, that's when the British rule ended, was in 1997. So this bar was named after that treaty of 1997 was going to end. So the bar was 1997. There was Disco, and a whole bunch of others. And so Sophie says, listen, she said, when you guys get in a cab, you want to go home, just tell the cab driver, just say this, Disco Ungoy. That means the name of the club, please. Okay. And so it worked. We get in the cab in San Francisco, say, Disco Ungoy. And they look at us strange every time. We get in that damn cab, two of us, and say that, these cab drivers would look and they shake their head and take off. And when we'd stop and pay it and we get out, as we're getting out, we heard this, I mean, almost 100% of the time, we heard the cab driver mutter, Dule Lomo. Now, Dule Lomo, I'm not going to say what it is in English, but it's a two words, and one of the words is mother. All right, so you put it together, but they'd shake their hand and go, Dule Lomo. And I said to Sophie, Sophie, we get some weird looks from these cab drivers when we get in there and tell them, Disco. I'm going, what are we saying wrong? She says, oh, no, you're not saying anything wrong. Disco is a gay club. I swear to God, God is my witness. What happened there? I left a little bit out of there. I had to tell you why. We didn't go down there and walk back. And so, so we come from Central, and we lived at our building was up by the governor's mansion. And so we come up around the governor's mansion and then on to Glen Ely. And as soon as we got on Glen Ely, we'd say to the driver, Little, which means here. And they'd stop and let us out. So we didn't have to go down and around the corner and into Lai Kwai Fong and then walk back. So, but a gay club. Not that there's anything wrong with that, all right? But, hey, let's call this a show.
Let's do it.